Good morning, good day, good afternoon. This is Action Coach Christian Harbeck, and I have the privilege today to have Michael Gladwin sitting next to me, and he is from a company called Travel Event. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much, Christian. It's good to be here.
So let's get straight to the point. Tell me about your business.
Cool. So the Travel and Event Company, we've been around for almost 16 years now. We started out as a full-service event management company focusing on corporate markets. Spent a lot of time with some really amazing, sexy brands up in Joburg and around the country. Big cell phone brands such as Nokia when they still existed, and Vodacom and Discovery Health, and we've done some amazing events for all of them. And through that process, we found a big need to bring in a travel element as well, because there was a lot involved for obvious reasons from a conferencing perspective. In order to streamline costs with our clients, we opened our own travel agency and kind of combined the thinking of the two together to provide both services, both independently of one another and together from an eventing and conference and incentives point of view.
Yeah.
We are full service. We look at anything from leisure travel to business travel to corporate travel to travel incentives, school travel, you name it.
Okay, brilliant. So you mentioned something, you started the business 16 years ago, is that correct?
Almost 16. 1st of September it will be 16 years. Yes.
Okay. So what made you choose, or what's the reason that you got into that business?
So I come from a theatre background. I was a theatre performer many years ago. Had a great time, but of course the theatre industry is a bit crazy. And used those skills to then take it behind the scenes, and that's where the eventing element came. So our events come with a very theatrical approach, having worked front and behind the scenes in that space. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very good. So who would you define as your ideal client, your ideal target audience?
So there's a variety of them, because of the different levels of offerings that we have within the business. So if I speak specifically about travel, we look after leisure travel. So you're a perfect client. Anyone who goes on holiday, anybody who goes to Mauritius, to Thailand, to Disney World, to Europe, to wherever the case, on a cruise, we offer that service. Then from a corporate perspective, we have a much more focused approach where the travel policies are important, and obviously cost is really important. So we then focus on rules and regulations within organizations and make sure that those are followed, so that they don't overspend on their budgets, and we make sure that their teams, wherever they need to travel, whether it's up into Africa or to Durban, Joburg, Australia, wherever, that they get there safely, that their stuff is booked on time, that they've got the right visas, the right information, the certificates, and so on.
Yeah.
We also look after high schools. We've got a couple of wonderful high school products that I find that the parents love me when we start, and they hate me when we get back, because their kids have actually grown up and they've learned some wonderful things, and they've learned how to budget, and they've learned how to look after themselves, and it's an amazing experience to travel with these kids and watch them grow and watch them become adults, I suppose.
Yeah.
I do believe that travel is the best education in the world. We even have built packages that focus very specifically on jobs of the future for kids and entrepreneurship, because the schools are not teaching that. So from a travel and renting perspective, we've kind of honed in on that as well. And then the wonderful stuff, the exciting stuff for me, is the eventing and the incentive element. So ideal clients, they are corporates who've got big money to spend, who spend money on rewarding their staff and looking after. They're making sure that they reach certain targets and certain goals and certain milestones, and then reward them through an incentive process with a beautiful overseas trip or a massive event on a rooftop in New York City or wherever. Yeah.
It's almost like I'm almost salivating to travel now, and I'm really it's been a while, but it's getting high time now.
It's time. It's time.
So speaking about this elephant in the room, COVID has arrived. How has this impacted you and your business?
So it's been hard. It's been really tough. I mean, I call it the Great Pause. The Great Pause for us actually started long before the lockdown started, because the majority of our corporate clients, for example, are actually international, and they mostly travel internationally. So their travel bans within their organizations started January already. Some of them even December, when COVID was first announced.
Yeah.
So it started affecting us in January. All the school bookings we had, obviously, those were cancelled instantly.
Yeah.
With full refunds. We had a number of group leisure bookings and individual leisure bookings to Thailand and all over the place, which obviously cancelled instantly. So we literally went from to a zero income within the space of 2 weeks.
Sure.
So it's been really tough. It's been really, really tough. But keep the head up, because we have to. There's no other option. We need to look forward and focus on the future.
Yeah. Michael, have you done one or two things within your organization that you have pivoted, changed, that is actually working?
So, as crazy as this sounds, COVID has actually been a blessing in disguise in a way, because it's given me a bit of time to refocus things and to focus on a whole bit of admin. First of all, got to get that out the way. But our business, the Travel and Event Company, is a level 2 BE status. And what gives us our level 2 BE status is I facilitate a trust called the Travel and Event Empowerment Trust. And it's about 2.5 years old now. And the purpose of that is for us to raise funds through various different channels, from a procurement level, from a BEE level, from an ownership level, which we then are governed to spend that money on a 100% Black woman-owned entity within the travel, tourism, hospitality, and events industries. So the past couple of months, I've given that some energy, and we've actually managed to launch a wonderful, wonderful new company, 100% Black woman-owned company called Isipo Travel Solutions. And the idea there is that the money we raise from the trust is used to fund that company, and Mpo, the lovely lady who's running the company, she will then use those funds to then invest in other travel companies around the country, and empower herself to then learn, first of all, how to be a director of a company, to get shares in the company, should earn dividends from the company, and then reinvest the money in generating new opportunities.
Bravo.
For young. Quite cool.
Bravo.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's really admirable. It's something that grows the economy. Getting something started. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So it's been said, smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what mistakes have you done along the way, and how can other entrepreneurs actually learn from your experience?
Is my mother going to be listening to this?
You can't choose your mother.
Totally. I've got a crazy mind. I have a million ideas all the time, and I often find myself coming up with new ideas and focusing on that idea and neglecting the idea that is kind of half-baked. So I think the concept of jack of all trades and bordering on master of nothing is one of my downfalls. It's about focusing on one thing and achieving it and reaching the goal within it.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to spread it too thin, which I often do.
Yeah, shiny object syndrome.
Absolutely.
That's what I call it. So if you could jump into a time machine and turn back the clock by 12 months, what would you have done differently?
Wow, in 12 months, can we make it longer?
No, it can only go 12 months. The battery only lasts that long.
I absolutely love my business, and I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and I'd like to believe we do really wonderful work. But unfortunately, I picked the two industries that are probably the worst in the universe: travel and events, which is essentially falls into the marketing space. And if anything happens in the world and that's negative, those two industries are always the first to get hit. So it's not the first time we've been in a bit of trouble financially. Yeah. When the country hits an economic depression, we feel it first.
Yeah.
So there's always a bit of a struggle. But in terms of what, if I had to turn back the clock by 12 months, what would I do? I would have focused more on specific products, the school product particularly. It's a really, really good one, and I didn't lose sight of it. I just I stopped marketing it for the most part, and didn't grab the attention of as many schools as what I should have.
Okay.
Because there's huge value in that, and it's the future, and they are our future. So,
yeah.
Education is amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, I love the choices I've made, good or
Good.
bad. I think I'm having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, Michael, I've got your details and how people can reach out to you. And please, I'm calling on everyone who's watching this. Please do reach out to Michael and support him. Are you running anything at the moment, a special, something people need to pick up the phone or, reach out to you immediately? Reach out to you immediately?
We're a small business, and my plea to so many people currently is let's support the small businesses in this country. We need to.
There we go.
Not just the travel industry. Everyone has taken a hard hit, but the joy about the travel industry, the travel and tourism industry currently, is because it's in such dire straits at the moment. It will change. The borders will eventually open. We will get better. But what all of the organizations are doing, from hotel properties to tour operators to adventure and experiences globally, they're offering really, really amazing, enticing packages and deals because they need the bums on the seats. So contact us. We get the really, really good prices. We get the good prices just like the big guys do. Sometimes better, to be very honest with you.
That's brilliant.
So in terms of actual specials, no, it's just more about what's available. How the tourism community is working together to make it easier for everyone to travel.
Brilliant. Okay, so my last question, what is the most inspiring thing for you today?
Wow, so much. There really is so much. I'm one of those guys. I'm a creative guy. So I can switch the TV on and be inspired by a comment that someone says. But I think my daughter, I'm a single dad. She'll be 21 in 3 weeks' time. That's been quite an inspiring experience, especially through this process.
Yeah.
She's been quite understanding of how things change and how things can change so quickly, especially if pandemics such as this comes along. That's quite inspiring.
That's brilliant. Okay, super. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time and your insight into your business, and especially the person behind it. I think it's always so important. Yeah, it's really valuable. I enjoyed your wisdom that you shared and the conversation we had. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Christian.